All right, I call the March 13th meeting of the Richmond Parks and Recreation Board to order. Richmond Parks and Recreation Department provides for the positive development and well-being of the Richmond community through the provisions of parks, greenways, trails, and recreational programming and facilities while working in cooperation with other service providers and partners in the community to maximize all available resources. No special guests. We need to amend the agenda to include new business under items D, E, F, and G. So I would accept a motion to accept the agenda modification.
I'll make a motion to amend the agenda to include items under new business, including item D, the approval of contract 45-2025, E, the approval of contract 42-2025, F, the approval of contract 44-2025, and G, the approval of an MOU with the Wayne County Foundation.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes for the February 13th meeting. Have everybody read them? Any comments or questions? Make a motion to, or accept a motion for approval of minutes.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? And I would, the meeting minutes for the special meeting for February 18th. Any comments or questions? Entertain a motion for approval.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? They are approved. Park Superintendent report.
I'm not sure if anybody had any questions. I just went through and did a just brief bullet point list of the things that I have been working on, just a really brief list. But if anybody has any questions, I'll just hit on the high points here. We've been working with HR to get the seasonal positions posted. I still have some positions that have been posted, but if anybody's interested in applying, we do have many seasonal positions available. We have JUCO, we have lifeguards, we have Middle Fork Reservoir, we have ground seasonal positions, we have golf grounds, we have also golf pro shops. So just lots of seasonal positions that we would love to have you apply for. So make sure to hit us up on Facebook or call the park office at 983 Park. We'll get you situated and get you taken care of, or you can go to our website at richmondindiana.gov for more information. Also, just wanted to let you know that we've been working really hard on getting everything finalized with the gorge, and also the state of the city is tomorrow, which is a kind of a big deal. Working to getting the data together for that. Been doing that, and also street department's been working on assisting with tree removal, and that's been a really big thing. Didn't know if you were aware that the city's been working on some rebranding and comprehensive plan refresh. There's a survey that went out, so if you haven't done that survey and you need a link for that, let me know, but make sure to take that survey. Contracts are coming through. We've got a lot tonight, but we still have some that we've been waiting on, so we might need just a quick meeting for a couple more contracts that we are waiting on. Partnerships, been working with union negotiations, working with IU East, golf, tennis, soccer, meeting with the foundation, different strategies for future campaigns, Ready 2.0, things like that. And also attended, some team members attended the career fair. We had our pre-market meeting for the market, so that's exciting. And then, as you know, I did send out a message that we were the IDDC grant finalists, and so we'll be doing a presentation coming up next week. So we've been working on that presentation. The Middle Fork Reservoir is getting a new floor, so you probably saw that in Jim's report. We also are working on making sure the fence installation at Clear Creek will be coming. It should be done in the next 2 weeks. They finished painting the backstop, poles, and all of that. Working on tables to be placed back at Elstro, and we had a productive goal setting workshop on the 12th of February for the park team. And then just to hit on the highlights of the gorge, our sanitation local permit was complete and signed off on, and our first pre-construction meeting will be the 27th of March. So we hope to have a notice to proceed coming soon. So I will keep you posted on that, but our contract is with R.L. Turner, very excited, and we're looking forward to that. We also met on site about the Weir Dam removal and have some sort of an action plan on how that's going to move forward.
Any comments or questions?
R.L. Turner has signed the contract.
Yes.
You're-
R.L. Turner signed
After
the
our
contract?
meeting on the, 18th, whatever it was.
Yes, they have signed the contract. We had our first initial meeting, discussed some things, and then the pre-construction meeting will be here on the 27th. We'll have probably about an hour and a half meeting, and then we'll do a site visit. Like I said, I'm hoping that we can present them with a notice to proceed on that day.
Any questions?
Can you talk a little bit more about the Weir Dam?
Yes.
Those concerns?
Yes, so the ultimate goal, obviously, is to make sure that everything is progressing on the West Bank. And so we want to make sure the East Bank is taken care of, right? So just meant to make sure that the remediation is heading in the right direction on the East Bank. And so I had Doug Newsombaum come down from DNR and just review the work that was done on the East Bank and provide a little bit of direction on how we can move forward on that progress and any insight that he might have since he was the one that provided the layer grant. So that was a half match to the U.S. Fish and Wildlife. And so together with the Environmental Sustainability Commission and myself and Laura was on site as well from our team, we talked through a bit of a plan of action, and my next step will be Monday meeting with sanitation. There's some serious erosion that's coming from the top down. Not necessarily everything is the issue on the East Bank from the actual project. There's some remediation that needs done in the embankment, but there's some also issues that need to be cleaned up from the top down. So I want to talk through that with Elijah and also Pat and see what their ideas are on that, and then get that expertise, and then we'll go forward. But my consultant's concern is that we want to make sure that we are not doing everything we need to do on the West Bank and then something start on the East Bank. So we really need to coordinate both of them, so that's why I'm more involved, if that makes sense.
So I think you said the DNR was the one that came to look at it?
Yes.
You said the same. Has he provided the recommendations?
So
yet?
he would like to understand a little bit more about the budgetary needs that we have to go forward. He's willing to help. There was some mitigation that wasn't done that should be done, and really I think we need to figure out what needs to happen at the top first. Is that our issue? How that's going to affect the bottom portion and what it's doing.
And when you say top, you mean?
There's some culverts and some things happening underneath the street level
I see.
that is pushing some problems down to that area. So that's not my area of expertise. I just need someone else to tell me how this is going to be affected or how we can fix it. And then once we have that established, and I think understanding if it can be fixed, then we'll understand what can be done on the bank.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
I also understand that there was debris among the Environmental Sustainability Commission. And we've spent a couple of meetings talking about that. Debris left in the stream, and then apparently a number of trees that were never planted. Are we going back on the
Yeah, so
The
that's the
firm-
mitigation, and that should have been done, and those were 50 trees, 10 to 1. And so that's one of the things on our list that should have been planted. So that's one of the things, you know, we'll discuss.
Which bank? Is that the East Bank?
Yeah, the East Bank. Now, the trees could be planted anywhere around there. They didn't have to be on bank.
Gotcha.
So the thought process would be pulling the bank up. His thought might be some live stakes on the bank just to kind of firm it up from additional erosion. But all of those can't be done until we understand additional erosion coming from the street level or the trail level, I guess you'd say. So is this going to prevent any of the remediation that we do on the East Bank? Or, you know, are we just going to do it all in vain, right? So until we figure out what's happening at the trail level or up above, should we be doing anything else?
Was,
And I understand what you're saying about
Yeah.
some of the debris. And I think that's a conversation to have with the actual
the company?
contractor
the-
that did the
yeah.
work.
So we are going back on them and asking them?
It's in the infancy at this point, so I think we're gonna do one step at a time.
Okay.
And then figure out how we're gonna pursue that.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And then, I'm sorry, the city has the contract, right? It's not a contract that DNR has.
DNR provided a match for the funds to remove the dam. So they provided half of the funds. We have the contract
Okay.
that provided the funds to be able to do it. They just provided the match to us.
Okay, great, thank you.
But we contracted with the company.
Any further comments, questions? Anything else? Jim, did you have something you want to report?
Yeah, just a couple of things I'd like to highlight. Our reports there, excuse me, in your packet. Denise mentioned we started a tree Tuesday after the weather finally broke, all the snow got off the ground. We started on February the, excuse me, 25th at Middle Fork Reservoir. We went back on the March 4th to finish up. We took down 6 trees and cleaned out a lot of invasives. So the view of the lake is a lot more pleasant to look at from the lake, so we're starting to make headway. The guys have been working on the floor at the service center, a much needed repair. The back side, the bait side and the concession floor have been dire need of being repaired for a while. We got around to it, it's looking good. They finally should have it wrapped up here mid next week. Of course, the reservoir is scheduled to open on April the 12th for the season, and yes, we are hiring people. Denise already highlighted, you can apply online or come out here to the park office. Right now we have, the report says 6, but we added another dock slip, so we have 7 rented already for this year. So hopefully that keeps growing.
Good.
Any questions?
Mr. President?
Yeah.
Jim, I hate to go back in time, but as you know, City Council is considering, or in the planning stages of considering an ordinance regarding abandoned houses in the city. And I know you used to give a report on how many houses that the Parks Department staff boarded up.
Yeah,
What
we
did
haven't done that for
Okay.
probably 3 years now.
Yeah, because
I guess
code
it just-
enforcement, yep.
It just sticks in my mind
Yeah, yeah.
that you gave that report, so.
Yeah.
Anyway, I know that the council is trying to figure out the cost of that. And I don't know if you've talked to any of the council members or any of the staff. I might have them ask you about that and just try to get some costs on what that is. And then the other question, which I assume the Parks wouldn't have any information on, but is, you know, what are we talking about? How many houses are we talking about? Is it 5? Is it 10? Is it 50? Is it 500? And you,
Per year, we.
Per year.
12
Back
maybe?
when we used to board them up, yeah, there would be, sometimes it would be a couple of weeks, and then you'd go for a while and wouldn't have anything, and then you have, here comes 2 or 3 more. And
do we know
sometimes you have to
who?
go back and redo them, so that it busts back in.
Oh, sure. Do we know who does that now? I guess I should.
Code enforcement.
Pardon me?
Code
Oh,
enforcement.
code enforcement. Okay, great, thanks.
All right.
Jim, I do
Yes.
have one question, not really a question. I know you've, and Denise have conversed about my desire to make a run with you someday around your areas of responsibility, just to get a clear picture in my mind of what that is. So I look forward to that opportunity. Well, I'm probably more available than you.
Okay, well, we'll set something up next week or 2.
Okay.
All right?
Okay, you want to text me with some
Yeah,
opportunities
yeah.
that are available? Okay.
Sure.
Very good.
Love to.
Thank you.
All right. Anything else? Thank you.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Jim.
Financials.
There's not too much going on for January's, but you might have noticed that the grant matches are reflected in the January financials. So for Widow Persons, Farmers Market, and County Golf Course, you'll see those in the revenue sections. That's just the grant match from the park, so that's in there now. I did want to point out the cabin and shelter rentals in the parks revenue is doing pretty good for January. We are already pretty full for graduation season, and so I think we're doing really good already for the year. So I'm looking forward to seeing where we're going for the rest of the summer. And that's just January, let alone when we catch up. So, did anybody have any questions or anything?
I have one question. Again, I'm new to this, so I'm learning the ropes and how things are structured. I see that we have January's results, but we don't have anything to compare them to. Have we calendarized this budget, or do we calendarize the budget so that we have a month-to-month comparison?
You have a 5-year financial report that you have for the years.
Right.
And so you would like each January?
I'd like to be able to compare expense control and revenue control on a month-by-month basis, so I have a comparison on a month-to-month basis, so we can manage our process appropriately.
So what
That's what
each
I'm.
February, or like what each we spent from January of 2024?
No, what our budget is we know what January expenses have been, what revenues and expenses we have. I don't have anything to compare it to. That is, what is the budget for January of 2025 for January? That's what I'm asking.
So on here we've got, so you're talking about like what we budgeted versus what we spent?
Yes, by a month.
Okay, so we don't necessarily budget, this is how much we're spending for January, this is how much we're spending for February, this is how much we're spending for March. That's not how we budget in terms of budget annually.
I know.
Okay.
And it's hard to have accountability when you have that wide a pattern of expense control. I'm used to calendarized budgets. That's what I've seen in every business that I've been involved with. So that you can compare month to month about what you say you're going to do, how you do it.
I think sometimes the hard part about that is also check runs. They don't always go month to month.
Right.
So when things are paid, it's paid citywide, not just us.
Sure.
So it's all paid in like a bulk check, and so it's all paid together.
This is something that has never been done, I guess. Is that correct?
Correct.
Oh.
I mean, I'll let the board speak to this.
Yeah. And I believe that's true across the city.
Yeah.
Mhm.
The city budgets annually, not month to month.
Right.
And I will say, I appreciate where you're coming from, and I agree that would be incredibly helpful. But to Emma's point, what I've learned over my just few years on the board is that those check runs and how they get associated month to month really, I won't say screw things up,
They throw you
but they
off.
throw you off. They throw off a lot of documentation.
Sure, and maybe there
Him and
will
I have had that conversation over and over and over
Sure.
again. I'm like, these numbers don't match. It's because of the check runs.
And there's the possibility, of course, that they could be 3 months, 2 months behind plan, and then, you know, you catch up. I understand that.
Well, and it's also, for example, take Lowe's. We work on a purchase order system, and Lowe's is a month behind in their invoicing.
Sure.
So if we turn in our receipts and we purchase something now, we're not gonna technically pay it, and it's not gonna come out of our budget until we're invoiced for it next month. So it's not gonna be accurate. So even if we did a month to month, it's not gonna be very accurate, which is why we're in March looking at January's financials, because it helps give a better idea of what's cleared and of what is more accurate. Because if I were to pull March right now, it's not gonna show exactly where we're at, because when things clear, when things are deposited, it's just a lot slower of a process. Because when I deposit things, like if we were to get a donation, we put it in the bank, but then I also have to turn it into finance
Sure.
and let them know which accounts we want it to go into. So then that's another couple day process. So then it's just, it
Well,
kind of slows
we
it
sign
down.
the general ledger statements every month.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's when it goes into the paid bills
Mhm.
account.
Mhm.
Okay, so you're not very well gonna put it in an account and say it's paid, and then it goes into the account that it was set up to pay from.
If I understand what you're asking for us to budget what we want to spend each January, what we want to spend each March, and or each February, and you want us to calculate that for every area? What we hope to,
The businesses that I've been associated that are bigger than the city of Richmond have always done it that way. That's what I'm used to. I'm saying, is that an option here? And if it's not, just
So-
tell me that.
yeah, it's not really an option here, just because tomorrow, the swing set could break, and I would have to buy, 3 new
Sure.
swings.
Sure,
I
but
couldn't
you
budget
have
for
to
that.
estimate.
I mean, I can't even budget for contingencies here. Unfortunately, that's not an option. This is just not a functional opportunity to budget monthly. It's I have X amount to work with for the year, and we work very frugal until we can't anymore.
I understand.
And so we are very frugal with what we have, and there are specific line items that we can utilize, and building repairs, and that is an everyday occurrence that we don't foresee coming. Someone could break something because
Sure,
they
and
utilized,
I don't expect an itemized
yeah.
budget, but.
I thought that's what you're asking for.
I'm asking repairs in general. Don't you have a repair budget for equipment?
That's what you approve every year.
I know, but you can't, I don't, what I'm used to is that gets calendarized. Even though you can't predict, of course you can't predict when it's gonna break or when you're gonna pay the bill.
Yeah.
But you know that it's gonna happen in a pattern, or at least an average of so much per month. An average of so much per month. See, I'm not suggesting that we do this because I see your points of view and I understand where you're coming from. It would help me understand where on a calendarized basis, where we're spending our money, if I had it available in a monthly basis.
I can let the board speak to if that would be helpful for them. I mean, I just don't think that there's a way that we can actually plan for those types of expenses. I mean, we can't even per month.
The other problem is too, there's a time delay as Emma was talking about,
Sure.
in processing invoices and whatnot.
There
So
always,
that's-
every
well,
business
that's
does
why,
that.
that's why,
But
that's
that's
why
not
we-
unique to the
that's why-
state city of Richmond.
That's why I'm saying that we are basically, we're looking at January data right now, and here we are in March, and I mean, it's,
Sure.
the balancing of that is timely, because they have to justify with downtown before they can release it out here.
Well, and I think it's gonna be difficult for us as a department to do it when the rest of the city doesn't, and I'm working with finance.
Sure.
Who does it this way, and then trying to do it monthly with just us. I think it would be very difficult to break off as a department and just do it the way that you're asking. It might be possible somehow. I don't know if I could do it honestly, because I rely on finance. Like just today, I had to call about a report because I rely on finance, who does the overall. They're my umbrella. And so if they're doing it this way, and I'm asking for help to do it this way, I don't know if I would be able
Sure.
to get the support that I would need.
Honestly, I'm not trying to change the way the city does their accounting. I just wanted to know if there was an option.
Yeah.
That's basically
What might be
what I'm
helpful,
asking.
what might be helpful is, since we can't do the budgeting looking forward piece, maybe we could do a looking backward piece, where we look at 2024 and the expenses month to month, since that exists like once the books close.
Well, like similar to the 5-year, but do it, the breakdown as of the month to month.
Would that be helpful context?
And
in looking
again,
at how the
every
year
yeah,
flows.
and we can do maybe a similar report in that regard, but we'll have to see how that falls. It just, every year is different,
Sure.
every month is different. It's really hard. Plus, that's a very big burden on our business manager, who has 6 divisions that she has to manage, and that's also different budgets that she has to manage. And so I would just be very leery of putting even more work for a monthly budget on top of that for every division that we would have to showcase. So,
To your suggestion, let me look at the 5-year plan in more detail and see what sense it
for
makes.
annual,
See what I
it's,
gather.
I will
from
say
that.
that 5-year comparison has been very helpful for me.
Okay.
I think for a similar purpose that you're asking about, is
Okay.
sort of, even in the context of the year, where do we stand in comparison to previous years?
Yeah.
And you
Right.
do start to see
Five-year
some
plan.
trends there,
Sure.
so I think that will be.
and it goes back to 21. I mean, we usually
Yeah.
try to do and show for admin, reservoir, park, pool,
Sure.
and then we also do, so we try to showcase for that 5-year trend and
Yeah.
just show what the revenues and expenses have typically been. But
And
if
another
you're-
example too would be the grant match. Sometimes it doesn't always hit in January, sometimes
Right.
it hits.
Revenue side is a little more difficult here because it's such a lump sum kind of
Well, and that's an
revenue
expense for
generation.
park, but a revenue for the others. So,
So when we give money from
It's
the
coming.
parks tax fund to some of our non-reverting funds, those hit differently.
so it works as both, and so that's where we're working with finance on the city side. And we're kind of at their mercy for when they're able to get to that point in their timeframe. So sometimes it's January, sometimes it's February, it's just when they're in their balancing and where they're at with what they're doing. So that'll reflect a kind of a big chunk too on
Sure.
where we're at. And sometimes if you look at the 5-year, you'll see the difference.
Mhm.
Okay, January's is a lot bigger this year, but last year, February's was a lot bigger. And if you look, you can tell, okay, well, grant match hit January, last year grant match hit February. So that's why that 5-year, and that's, I think, why we do both, the monthly and then the 5-year, because then you can kind of look at them side by side to get to kind of what
Sure.
you're asking for and like
Sure.
what Dakota was
Get a
saying.
feel for it. get a
To
handle.
go,
Yeah.
to compare, and I think that might be as close as we'll be able to get to what you're asking for, is just like Dakota said, that he's kind of figured a way to compare it that way.
I'll take a closer look to that. Thank you.
We also have intergovernmental charges that sometimes
Yeah.
they'll do in certain increments, and that's their discretion.
Yeah, we
So-
have no decision on that.
Oh, yeah.
So those are just
I'm
things
coming
that,
to the conclusion that there's a number of things that fall into that category.
there's also some things that it just happens, same thing with insurance.
Sure.
Insurance, property and liability, workers' comp, all those things come out when it comes out.
Yeah.
And those are things we don't have control over.
One other quick question, is 2024 closed now? Do we
As
have
far as
the
I know,
revenue
yeah.
piece and the whole piece together? Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Mr. President, I think Mr. Devine makes a really good point here in that we're not shooting blind. You have a pretty good idea. You're not just saying, okay, we got $2 million or 2.4, just throw it out there and spend it. And I understand that's not the case.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I think it's always good for us as a board, as a, the fiscal board, to know, are we spending too much? Are we spending not enough? Are there other situations like a drought or whatever that would cost us more money? I think, as we march along in the year, it's probably good to have some idea about what's
I
happening.
will also add.
And I'm not saying that that's not happening.
What has also been helpful for me, just sharing, is in the financials, the percentage of budget used has, that has helped me a lot. Because while it's not month to month, if you're in January and you see, we have spent our entire budget on something, or even 80%, it's worth a question, right? And in board meetings and out of board meetings, Emma and Denise are always willing to answer those questions. But that's sort of, I think, how I also get that information that you're trying to get at.
I
We're
think you've
20% away
Yeah.
through the year, but we've spent 80% or vice
Yeah.
versa.
You've
That's
had
helpful.
these discussions before, obviously.
Yeah.
We had them when I joined the board. And I'm sure when Bill joined the board and Mike joined the board, so you're not alone.
Okay, well.
This is a system to get used to, that's for sure.
Thank you for your input.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
We're always willing to discuss it, for sure. And talk through the process and make sure you feel comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and also, when Denise presents the budget, there is a breakdown of where it goes, because we compare it to the year before. And we go off of what we've done the year before, so we're not just,
No, I'm
like, Bill said, we're not just kind of
not
guessing.
saying at all, you're not
I
managing
know,
your
and
funds
I think
properly.
it's also important to know that when we pay our bills each month, if there's a red flag that goes off, Amy says, look, this water bill is absolutely higher than it was back in last February. There's something, and we need to look at that, because when I paid it last February, it was this. When I paid it this February, it was this. And so we know that's something that we've got to look at that water line. It could be a bust, there could be a problem, a broken, some situation where if it went astronomically higher than last month or last year, we review that wholeheartedly. So, those kinds of payments on those types of utilities are always reviewed month to month to month. I mean, we don't just pay and go along with
I'm
it.
sure you don't,
So-
any more than you would at home.
No, I mean, look, when I'm raising money, and I have my hand out, you can better believe we're not gonna just pay every penny and just, wipe it under the table. So there is a process here for, that as well. So just wanna make sure that you feel comfortable.
I do,
Okay.
thank you.
Okay, any other questions for him?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wes not here. Becky, you're up.
I was sitting in the wrong spot. Well, I guess I want to say I'm really excited. We had over 36 new members. We put 36 down. So between January 1st and the end of February, we actually had 40. So
Very good.
that's exciting because we keep growing. I wanted to thank, we had 2 members, Cheryl and Marla, who come in. Cheryl's with DAR, and I think Marla helps too.
Cheryl?
They are amazing. They're organizing all of the 50-year history that we found buried in all the closets and lockers and recesses. So it's very organized, and we've set aside a place so anybody who comes in can read the history of and touch and see and feel all the people. So it's kind of exciting to see that. And they've just put countless hours in, and they're great. And then we had another member, Louise, who was doing everything, and then she hasn't been able to do it. And so her group that plays canasta with her and bingo all decided, well, she's been volunteering where I guess we'll pick up the slack and all and do her stuff. So it's been really cute. So I just wanted to thank that we do have volunteers there. And then of course Mark has been helping us, which is thank you to you, while we're in between getting a custodian hired, but that should happen really soon. Our Couch to 5K is now at 49 members that have joined to commit to doing it. So we start that on the 31st of this month. That's our first date, and that's great. I'm excited because there's actually more than that doing it. Some people want to be mentors throughout, so everybody completes it. So that's exciting. We've partnered with Morrison Reeves Library, so they do their technology down there. We love that because we all need it, and they're doing it twice a month in the morning and twice a month in the afternoon. And it's like a lifesaver to go in and be able to say, okay, I have my tablet. I have no idea what I'm doing. And they're like, oh, this is easy. So we've already started our new program, Get Moving, on Monday. That we're in our second week of that, and that's growing. The first class, we had 21 people. I thought that was pretty good for just right out of the gate. And we're getting ready to plan, and in April we'll start our Monday mashup, which will be with Reed Health, community health workers, and one of our instructors and myself and our intern. We have an intern from Miami University, and she's amazing. And that will be 3 6-week programs that will be designed around wellness and nutrition, education, and movement that you can take into the community or take into your home and do that there, not only what we can do here, but it'll show you, when you're at the farmer's market, you can save money by, I'm going to buy spinach, you're going to buy kale, we're going to share because none of us eat the whole thing, and then we're going to also take some to the center and learn how to fry it in our air fryer and have something kind of yummy. And we're going to go to this park and meet and walk here, and so we're stitching ourselves back into the community, and I'm excited about that. So if you know anybody that needs yarn, like Boys and Girls Club, college students, artists, I have yarn. Please come see me. I've got lunches. So. Do you have any questions about anything doing or happening or?
I have a
Yes.
question.
Mhm.
I meant to research this more and send it to you a long time ago and have
Yeah.
not had the chance. Are you familiar with Lifelong Arts Indiana?
I'm familiar with
Okay.
it a little bit.
I heard about it
So
just
cool.
recently, and you immediately came to mind. So I wanted to make sure that the connection was made if it wasn't
Yes,
already.
thank
So,
you for
of
that,
course.
yes.
And as always, I think you're doing great work.
Well, thank
Yeah,
you. I
yeah, we
have
all
kind of
do.
a plan. I want it to grow and keep growing. And honestly, I got a call today from someone who gave our number to somebody in Fort Wayne that gave it to the park superintendent in Connersville or something. And they asked about our walking program. And they wanted to know how we did it because we've done 2. The first one was this 1,000,000 steps in the center where we walked from January to November. We measured the steps you took doing any activity and recorded it. It was 1,000,000 steps. And we did that by climbing Mount Everest, Kilimanjaro, and now we're on the Appalachian Trail. And then we're doing our 5K, which is really fun. I'm excited, but I didn't expect it to grow so big, and I kind of want to cap it at, part of me says, well, let's do 50 because we're 50 and beyond, but I think we'll actually have over 50 people that will be participating in it. So, and we'll have a big picture because I'm learning to take pictures. We'll have a picture when we leave on the 31st, and then when we complete it on the 16th, we'll do one in our t-shirts and our sweat and all the stuff we do. So,
I love it.
yeah, but
Good.
thank you.
Thank you.
You have a March calendar, I bet?
I do, but probably not actually in here
I bet
today, but
there's
we
one
have
at
one,
the
yeah.
office.
Yes, they have one there. They have a much cuter one in the office than I make because Amy is very talented at shrinking it and putting little color things on. But yes,
I'll
we
get
do.
one for me.
So thank you, and I'll make sure you get one sent to you all the time. Then you're gonna be tortured, so.
It's all right.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Fire away.
Farmers market.
You have anything you want to touch on or about community or farmers market?
Sure. March is here. Do what?
You can do both.
That's fine. So the farmer's market is going really well. As Denise mentioned previously, we just did our preseason call out for vendors for the summer. So we've started taking applications. We've gotten a lot of returning vendors, some new vendors. So we're really excited. We'll be moving back down to Elster Plaza on May 3rd. That'll be the first outdoor farmers market of the year. We're currently averaging 31 vendors per Saturday market with over $80,000 reported in vendor sales. These are Hannah's notes, so I apologize, I don't know them by heart. But since the beginning of the winter market season in November, vendors have cashed out over $18,000 in SNAP. We're still obviously offering our double dollars program, thanks to Reed, where we double the SNAP dollars for anybody who wants to come and cash those in, and then spend them with the local vendors. The WIC program has gone really well. That was a new program that we instituted towards the end of last summer, where we can match with eligible products. So both of those programs have been really going well this winter. But yeah, right now we're just recruiting for the summer, getting ready to move back down to Elster Plaza. The upcoming this weekend is the annual seed swap, which is always a big event. We've got the Wayne County Master Gardeners coming out. So that's definitely a favorite market of the year for people. Looking like we will have well over 30 vendors as well this Saturday, and still finalizing that. But then on April 19th, we'll be doing our annual Easter extravaganza market. And then the last indoor market, which is on April 26th, I don't think it's on our notes, but that's our Arbor Day celebration, and that'll be the last indoor market. So it's just crazy. It feels like we just moved down there like 2 weeks ago, and now all of a sudden we're talking about moving back outside. So, any questions on farmers market?
It's fun to go to.
Thank you. We're always glad to see you. And there will be live music this Saturday too. So in my other world of community rec, we are busy working on our summer plans. The JUCO positions are now open. We've already filled our JUCO coordinator position. That is a returning. She's been with JUCO, I think this will be her 4th summer. She's been a site leader, she's been a counselor, so she knows the camp inside and out. Her name's Courtney. I'll introduce her once we get her fully onboarded and everything. But once we can get her onboarded, she will start work right away. She's anxious and ready to start helping with the training manuals and just getting plans together for the summer. Our site leaders actually just filled the 2nd one today. So both site leaders returning from last summer. The arts and crafts leader position has been filled. That's Carol, who's been with us for many years. We love Crafty Carol. And actually I'm up to, I think, 5 of 15 counselor positions filled now. So been on the phone since those positions got opened up, calling back all my return counselors. So that is moving. JUCO registration will open here in the next week or so, still just fine tuning that a little bit. I attended the annual camp summit at the Avon Park in February. It's the 2nd year that I've gone. Really cool experience just to get in there with some other camp directors, get some ideas. They host some really cool little seminars that, things about crisis planning, things about budgeting, things about marketing, just all the little things that you have to think about when you put on a large camp like we do. But I also enjoy going to those because it's nice to hear that we're doing a lot of really good things. I think kind of the level we've gotten to with JUCO is a level that other camps strive to be at when it comes to the amount of kids that we have involved, the amount of counselors that we have returning.
the variety of activities we're able to provide, you know, the fact that we're able to provide this as a free camp. So many of them are still having to charge for their camps and struggling to get attendance, and I think we're in a really good place with that. So it's kind of nice to hear that. And then we're doing the egg hunt. It'll be here before we know it, so you'll start. Next time you're here in the office, there will probably be about 5,000 Easter eggs scattered about. If anybody's bored, wants to come steal some Easter eggs, it's time. So that will be Saturday, April 12th, over at the golf course, with the rain date of April 19th. But with it being a month later this year, we're hoping for much better weather than we had last year. So, and then we were just awarded this past Friday a $1,500 grant check from the Kiwanis Club of Richmond for JUCO. So we went to that on Friday, and yeah, just excited to get this on the rolling. Any questions?
Questions?
Yeah.
Great work. Thanks.
Thank you.
Board concerns and comments? Golf subcommittee report. Would you like to
Sure. So the golf subcommittee has been meeting to complete our charge. What we've been primarily focused on recently is, as you've heard in previous board meetings, the staffing structure of that division. And so today we met with the park superintendent and extended an offer that was accepted for the director of golf operations. So Wes Widows will be taking on that role permanently, I think effective on Monday. And so we're really excited to have him continuing his service to the golf division in this slightly different capacity. It was shared during the meeting that there were other applicants that were qualified, but we felt very confident that with Wes's history throughout the golf industry, but also at Highland Lake specifically, that he was still the definitely the most qualified person for that.
How
And
long's Wes been
since
there?
2019.
2019.
He has 30 years of experience.
So
It's kind of hard to beat that.
And a bad golfer.
we have also reviewed several of the issues before us in new business relating to golf, and I think are in favor of all of them making a recommendation for approval, but we'll go through that process as we do. Any questions on that, on the golf?
So no, I might add that Wes has done a lot of maintenance work so far, getting the irrigation system taken care of, so that it's all working, which was a little problem in the past. He's got the equipment running and it's all ready to go. He's, I guess, said he had mowed once already, so the course
We rolled and mowed the greens.
rolled and mowed, and we're going to aerate, or I'm sorry,
25th.
aerate, on the
March.
March 25th. So getting the course ready,
And very bad.
ready to accept any and all players out there. So
That's right.
please come out.
I stopped out there yesterday
Good.
just to see what it looked like, because I know Wes has been doing a lot of work out there. So I didn't get a chance to see him other than to wave at him as he was off going to do something else.
you.
But I did, I like the way the clubhouse is looking. Yeah, I'm real excited about the opportunity there this year. So good, I'm glad about Wes and
We are too.
moving forward that way, so we know who's in charge, and he'll do what needs to be done. So
Yes.
I'll be spending more time.
Appreciate that.
Okay, new business. RPNL light pole installation approval, Whitewater Gorge Test Road Trailhead project.
Yes, so just to give a brief overview of this, in our test road trailhead improvement project, instead of putting this into the actual project, we decided to go with our local partners at RPNL to provide the 9 non-decorative aluminum post top streetlights. In that case, that would need to come to the governing body to approve the actual lights for the project. The cost per month for the 9 lights will be $175.86. And then the metal post is $19.54 each per month. So these lights will actually be the lights of our P&L, but we will pay per month. So that is why the governing body has to support the cost of that and then the cost per month. And so we just think it's important, instead of actually putting them in the project where we would have to facilitate any need of those lights going forward and having that long-term maintenance, that this would be something that we would put and build into like a normal light that we have, that they would come in and take care of that maintenance for us. And so 9 lights, I think, this is a good opportunity for us, and they will be LED lights, and it's very cheaper option for us than what was in the actual project. So our consultants felt that this was a good move in the right direction, especially supporting our P&L.
This seems very reasonable.
Any
From a
comments or
cost,
questions?
it seems very reasonable from a cost standpoint for that.
These are the parking lot?
Yes. The
Just
parking
make
lot.
sure.
Yeah. These are the ones in the parking lot and then down towards the trail a little bit.
Okay, I assume we have to approve that.
Correct.
Would entertain a motion,
And then it'll be that ongoing cost,
right,
reoccurring cost.
to approve the installation of the lights at the Whitewater Gorge trailhead at the monthly cost as stated.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, approval of Highland Lake Golf transfer.
And so this might need just a little bit of background. So this funding, we have requested to transfer from Highlands cash balance at $200,000. And we talked a little bit about in previous years, I think, Bill, you may have actually addressed how much will, when we talked about the fact that the municipal golf course really needs funding from the tax base, right, to keep going. And I think last year you said we need to determine how much that is. And so we've been really trying to put a number on that. We don't necessarily have a number yet on that, but Emma and I have been working diligently on what we've been spending out of the parks budget versus what we've been using in the budget, right? So anything over and above what's been coming out of Highlands budget, and then what we've been kind of subsidizing in the parks budget to continue to keep going. So I don't have an exact number for you, but we're getting there. Additionally, we've transferred $200,000 at the end of the year from the parks cash balance into Highlands budget, into the cash balance. And in doing so, that was purposeful for a couple different reasons. One, to cover some of the loss that they had from last year. We knew that they were going to be in the negative. But also to cover what we knew was going to need to be fixed going forward and some of the improvements that we wanted to do. We've been talking for a long time about improvements such as expansion for simulators to be able to have year-round golf. And we also knew that there could be some issues with startup in 2025. In terms of the startup, we're talking about the pumps that you're going to be seeing here later on with the quality repair, a contract. And so we knew that that was going to be right off the bat. We just didn't know how much it was going to cost. So we knew we were going to have some cost contributed for the startup of the pump house. So that $200,000 was transferred from the tax base of the Parks Fund over to Highland. And so this actual request that you're seeing is coming from Highland's cash balance to be able to appropriate it to spend it. So what the park board is doing is you have the authority to now, since you oversee the budget of Highland Lake Golf Course, you're allowing us to spend this money out of the cash balance. So I have the authority to transfer it into the fund. Now you have the authority to allow us to spend that. And what I'm requesting is from the accounts, from the cash balance to the account of a capital account, which is the 4490, and then to an account of 3990, which is a contractual account. And that contractual account would be $50,000, and the capital account would be $150,000. So those are that's the request, so we can that we can transfer into those funds from the cash balance. Anything that is not spent will stay in the cash balance.
Any comments or questions? Like a motion to approve the Island Lake golf transfer in the amount of $200,000.
I so moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of contract 31-2025 to Wilson Outdoor Solutions in the amount not to exceed $13,000.
This is exactly what Mike was discussing in 31-2025, which is with Wilson Outdoor Solutions in the terms of the airification that is needed on March 25th of this year. So this is also going to be for the full calendar year for the fall as well. So the airification that we do is normally in the fall. This year we want to do the spring and the fall just to really get these greens up and going. Again, we're going to verticut too. So Connorsville is going to come up. Our partners in Connorsville, they're going to come up and help us verticut the greens just so we can get a good solid greens and get the grass going in there and making sure that we are good to go. There's a lot of thatch in our greens, and the chemical specialist has just really recommended that the more verticutting that we can do and the more airification that we can do of pulling plugs, it would be better. This particular spring, she felt that the verticutting would be better than the pulling of the plugs. So we're going to go ahead and airify and verticut. So that's the plan for the spring. The fall, we will reevaluate our greens and see how they've done throughout the season. And then we'll see if we need to pull the plugs, but we'll still airify. And that's the plan that we have right now. And the contract is for the year, but it also is going to give us an option to renew going forward so that we can continue moving forward with this airification process.
And again, that's going to be done on the 25th, right?
Correct, 25th, so we'll be shut down for a full day.
And that's at Highland on the 25th, but we also have Glenn Miller
We're going to do
in the fall.
Correct, thank you for saying that. This contract also covers Glenn Miller in the fall. We think just the airification in Glenn Miller will be fine in the fall. We're not going to do airification there in the spring.
Any comments or questions? Entertain a motion to approve 31-25-2025 to Wilson Outdoor Solutions in the amount not to exceed $13,000.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of contract 45-2025 to Mays Design not to exceed $42,000 for design needs.
Okay, so this particular contract to Mace Design, this is the two design proposals you see in Exhibit A and Exhibit B. The maintenance pole barn is for $23,500, I believe it says $23,500, and then the golf course pole barn simulator area is for $18,500. So that in total is not to exceed $4,200. We felt that at the same time that we were designing the pole barn, it is essential to do the pole barn simulator area as well. So the pole barn at maintenance, we've been trying to come up with a solution. We have a lot of equipment and fleet that are outside a covered area and an area that is it's very subject to some criminal activity. So it's inside a gate, but there's been some issues that we've had. in our maintenance area. So we needed some extra storage. And so we've been talking about a maintenance pole barn for a while, and so the area and square footage is going to require a state design release, and so that means that we have to get a actual design produced and then bid out. And so that is why the design is an option that we have to do, and we feel like this will be a good option so that we can bid apples to apples and then get the state design release completed and then bid out, and then we'll come back to the board and share the bids, obviously, with both things. So the design proposal for, as you can see, for the maintenance pole barn and the golf simulator are both there on the exhibits, and it will consist of the design phase, the development phase, and the engineering as well. So this will help us to definitely determine everything we need for these areas. The maintenance pole barn will be behind the maintenance complex there and be able to protect all of our equipment, especially the new equipment that we have in our budget this year. I think that's real big, concern of mine at least. And then we have an actual area that's kind of falling down in its place that needs to be really torn down. So that will be taken care of as well. And then the golf pole barn will just be that area that's the banquet facility. It's not necessarily ideal location. It's outside, of course, the clubhouse. That banquet facility, we try to make that work for a simulator area. It's not conducive due to the fact that we can't raise the roof, we can't expand it. We've tried to fix it either way, but it's just going to cost more money to do any of those things. So we really just need to build a separate structure. It'll save us money to do that rather than try to manipulate something that's been there for so long. So that's what that's about, is that expansion to get the simulators in there.
Any comments or questions?
Answer any questions?
I'm trying to understand. This is, there's no design yet.
That is what this is for, yes, for both of
This
them.
allows us to go forward with a design, is that correct?
This will be designed. This is for
Right.
the design. Mhm.
Okay, okay.
But on both areas.
Okay.
The design and then taking care of the state design release that has to happen for the
Okay.
areas. So they'll submit it to the
So we're several
state.
steps away from actually getting a bid.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
I
the
thought it
bid
was
specs
a
will
little-
also be completed with this.
I thought it was a little inexpensive to build a pole barn for 20-something.
No, these are just the design proposals.
Okay. The sketches that are documented are referenced in the proposal are not there, at least I can't find them. So is there any sketches at this point? Or is-
No.
No,
No,
okay.
this is talking about that there will be sketches.
Okay, it actually says
And so that there was
attached. which
There was
are
some,
attached.
there was some preliminary sketches for the pole barn. I think he provided us, but I didn't
Okay.
put those on here.
Okay, because.
Just because he was showing where it could be sitting, but
Right.
I didn't provide those.
Okay, well, I read it closely.
Sorry.
I was looking for them. So, okay, that's my only question.
Any other comments or questions? Okay, entertain a motion for the approval of contract 45-2025 to Mays Design, not to exceed $42,000 for the design needs of a maintenance pole barn and a golf pole barn simulator area.
So moved.
Second.
All? Second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approved. Okay, approval of contract 42-2025 to Floating Docks for $24,924 to repair the 20-foot launch ramp at Middle Fork Reservoir.
You've heard enough from me. I'll tell you a little bit about where the funding's coming from, and then I'll let Jim speak to it. So this is, we're going to go ahead and take the funding from our from our contractual budget, and then when funds come in from our Berryfield sale, then we will reappropriate them into this fund. We just can't wait any longer. Middle Fork's opening soon, they're waiting for this, and this is something that we really wanted to get done before the opening. So the closing's looking like it's gonna come sooner than later, so we feel like we just need to move forward with this and utilize some of our funds that we already have in the budget and then just reappropriate it into the same line item. Just wanted to kind of let you know what's happening, where the funds are coming from, and that this was intended to come from the sale of Berryfield in the same area. And then I'll let Jim talk to you a little bit about the floating docks.
Okay, it's the launch ramp. There's 2 dock systems, one on each side, that the boaters use when they launch their boats. One of them's been pulled out of the water, so we're only been operating last year with one. And that's in bad shape, so we need to get both repaired. And that's for 2, not just one, it's for 2.
Oh, yeah.
ramps.
All right, thank you for clarifying that. It
Do
doesn't
we
say
have
that.
a date when we're gonna get that done? Or when we're-
As soon as we get this all signed, I can get with them and we can get rolling.
Okay, so it's imminent then?
Yeah.
Okay. And then the docks in general, are we okay this year?
They're still in decent shape, yeah, as we check them and as boards get,
I mean, it seems like every year we have
to pass
some
something.
issues,
yeah.
so I was just curious of where we are. Okay, good,
They're still in good shape.
okay.
And these are different than the 7 you talked about earlier, docks that are already out there?
No, that's people that has rented their
Oh.
dock slips.
Dock slips.
Oh,
Those are
okay.
pontoons, it's already rented.
All right.
These are the ones,
Yeah.
when you come up to the ramp, they're right there. When you go down to Middle Fork, you'll see them. You'll see how bad they are. One's been taken out, the other one's still in there, but sinking.
But it's in bad shape.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
So right when you pull up, and you see the service center over here,
Yeah.
look at, you'll see them.
So the plan is,
You'll know
the one
exactly
that's
where
out, they'll take it back to the shop, fix it, bring it back, and take the, at least we would still have something there that can be utilized.
That's the plan.
Is the Berry Park
Very good.
sale, Berryfield, excuse me, Park, is that a close number, or are we,
Yeah, it's 23.
okay, so very close.
Yes.
Thank you.
That was the goal.
Yeah.
And also on Berryfield, what is the timeline for?
So we've got the purchase agreement, did an extension, and so now we're just waiting on that finalization with a few other items for the owner, and then we're good to go, and we're just waiting on a closing date. That's my understanding. I checked back a couple of times, so I think it's just maybe a few little last items.
Who's managing that on the city side? Is that through the law department?
AJ. Yep. And then EDC is the conduit. It's basically taken care of through that.
And we approved the zoning change in
Yes.
the advisory plan commission
Yep.
not long ago.
Yep.
I am very glad that we're doing this and that we're able to reinvest the funds that we've gotten out of the sale of Berryfield Park into a park that's very close to that neighborhood as well. I
Yeah.
think this is a good move.
Yeah, and I think this shows our, our want for the community, and especially in the north side. It's not like we're just setting the money aside and waiting for a rainy day. We're being strategic, we're doing something quick, and we're doing something that's been needed for how many years, Jim?
Long time.
So we've been kind of waiting for this. When you say our trip to come in, but we really have been kind of waiting for this because it's been needed for so long, and so we wouldn't have really been able to do this another way. Now, granted, this is, we don't like to see parks go away in neighborhoods. It's never our intention. It was never our intention for that, but it is filling, a few needs for us. One, that was very cost prohibitive for us to mow on a regular basis. Two, we needed this funding to be able to, to get these docks fixed, and also we needed additional housing. So you know, again, we never like to see green space go away, we're parks all the way, but this was one of those things that we want people to go to Middle Fork. We want them to go down the street. While I know neighborhoods and parks are important, we want them to visit Middle Fork too.
Kind of a win-win.
It is.
Very much so.
Okay, entertain a motion for approval of contract 42-2025 for floating docks for $24,924 to repair the 20-foot launch ramp at Middle Fork Reservoir.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thanks, Tim.
Thanks, Jim.
Approval of contract number 44-2025 to Quality Repair Services in the amount of $19,640 to purchase and install the pumps at Highland Lake Golf Course.
I spoke a little bit about this earlier, and just to clarify, this is 2 new pumps that we'll be installing. The 2 old pumps that we had assessed, it was close to $6,000 each, $5,000 and some higher change to get restored and fixed for these pumps, and it was a 90-day warranty. I said I'd like to know how much it would be for brand new pumps, and then they quoted the brand new pumps at the $8,000 and some change. They will give us a year warranty on these pumps instead of the 90-day warranty. The pumps they made me a little nervous to refurbish these pumps because they were full with ice when we took them out of the pump house. I'm afraid that there could be some additional issues with these pumps if we refurbish them. They worked through them, and they were going to refurbish them, but still made me a little uneasy. So I think the brand new 2 pumps will serve us well and keep us going for a long time. They did assess our 3rd pump, and it only cost us $160 because it was good to go. So while we have 3 pumps in the pump house, all 3 of our pumps will be working for the first time in several years. So that you can rest easy that 2 are brand new and 1 has been assessed working fine. So that also tells me this is a very good company that, it means well. This company, Sanitation, uses on all their pumps. And we also have a backup pump as well that we worked on last year. And so now we have that backup pump in case anything also goes down. So going from not having any pumps to having 4 pumps, we are doing well. So this contract here also not only gets us these pumps, but also gets them installed and startup. So if they see anything during that process that is of concern, then we can go forward with that. But getting them on site, I think, is a big deal, and having them install those pumps will also be a nice opportunity. So that's what this contract is for.
Any comments or questions? Entertain a motion to approve contract number 44-2025, the Quality Repair Services in the amount of $19,640 to purchase and install pumps at Highland Lake Golf Course.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Approval of an MOU between Wayne County Foundation and Richmond Parks and Recreations for Lily Gift 8 Project Core.
Yes, so this is for us to basically sign off on and accept the memorandum of understanding between us and the Wayne County Foundation for acceptance of the Lily Gift 8. And this is just stating the funding that we'll receive. I also attached the budget there as well, which is the unit pricing budget. This is what we're receiving from Lily Gift 8 for the gorge. These projects are the Riverwalk portion, as well as the bouldering garden and the nature playground. So these projects will be completed by 2027, and we will receive the $4.375 and $42. So I'm just going to get the change right. So there's 2 projects that they're funding with Lily Gift 8. That is this project I just described, as well as Craig's Park in Cambridge. So we're very lucky that they chose our two projects to move across the finish line and be champions for. And so the MOU just kind of outlines exactly what they're expecting through this project, how they're expecting the reporting to be done, how they're expecting things to be done in cooperation with Lily. So I've had AJ review this MOU. He's comfortable with this MOU and feels comfortable with us signing off on it.
Okay, any comments or questions?
Just a comment about how great this opportunity
Oh,
is
man,
and
it's
the
amazing.
incredible work from the foundation. They're a really great partner to the entire community, but we're especially thankful to them for this.
Okay. Entertain a motion for approval for the MOU between Wayne County Foundation and Richmond Parks and Recreation for the Lily Gift 8 project core.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carry on.
And one more thing I have, just direct your attention to the screen on real quick. I just wanted to just show you, I asked him to be here tonight, but he is a very, he doesn't want a whole lot of attention, but this is our volunteer, Gary DeLucio, and I will say that he's done a tremendous amount of work at the golf course, and I just wanted to make sure that you were aware of how much work this gentleman has done for us at the barn. So he spends every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday with us from 9 a.m. to 3:30 p.m., okay? Volunteering his time. And the volunteering his time is not just picking up trash and sticks, okay? This man is an angel. See all those weed eaters right there? We only had one that ran before he got a hold of these weed eaters. And he also built that shelf there to hang them all on. So that's just one thing, right? That's just one thing that he's done. The things that I could go on and on about, this air compressor here actually is piped into the whole entire barn. It hasn't worked in over, I would say over 5 years. He had to drain 8 gallons of water out of it. It had an encasing around it, and it was never getting enough airflow, but it was less than $250, and he fixed this amazing air compressor himself.
What's that used for?
Well, to do anything we need inside for air tools or anything else inside the barn.
Gotcha.
Then, we had this whole chemical area that we needed to bring in chemicals from cold storage into warm storage. And so, he's coordinated and made sure all of these things are all organized. He's organized the entire shop. He now has a scrap pile that these are things that he's taken apart things just so we can have a scrap pile. The area there, those are all other air compressors he's gotten working that hasn't been working, that they just kept buying new air compressors because the other ones didn't work. But no one knew how to actually make them work. The equipment looks wonderful. This room right here was covered with stuff on the bottom of it, and he's cleaned all that out. He's gotten all these other tools to work, and he's cleaned that area out. This area actually looks like a shop because before you couldn't even see tools there. Look at this. This is amazing. This area right here is just organized, and you know where every tool is in every bin. That was not that way. This area, you can actually see the floor. That wasn't this way. So this shop is just, this is the break room, which didn't look like this. And so I just wanted to kind of show you some of this, and I kind of maybe pinpoint a little bit of some of this later on when he lets me bring him in here and
That was
and
going
thank him.
to be our question, is how do we recognize this
Well,
guy's
he doesn't like any recognition, and, I thank him, and Wes thanks him, and Brandon, who's the head of volunteering, thanks him, and, he does this because he enjoys it. And, we'll get him a card, we'll do some things like that, but, I think that it's definitely worth recognizing him on camera and telling, if anybody knows Gary DeLucio, he's one of a kind, but he is our, by far, a wonderful man that has taken us from where we were, which is in kind of a, shambles and not organized, and would not be where we are today at the golf course without him. He has really just volunteered his time and energy and taken us and catapulted us just light years ahead. And so I just wanted to make sure I told you all what he's been doing out there, because it doesn't, we're so appreciative, and I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that he has been volunteering all his time and energy to do some of those things out there. So we're very thankful.
You said Gary?
Uh-huh.
Gary
Look at
DeLucio.
him.
Yes.
Well, then maybe we can at least, I'll make a motion that we adopt a minute of appreciation in the minutes for Gary DeLucio for all of his hard work at Highland Lake Golf Course, and express the park board's sincere gratitude for his generosity of time.
Thank you.
Entertain a motion to approve that motion.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. And then,
Self-devote.
yeah, well, I asked him to attend tonight, and, I think that maybe I'll get him to attend in April, if I twist his arm a little bit more, but now you know more about him, you know a little bit about what he's doing and how he does enjoy that. And he's now moved over to the other barn, and he's been organizing all of our irrigation parts into one area to make sure we have them all in one section. I mean, it's just been amazing. So,
Is he a golfer?
he's not necessarily a golfer, but he is.
That's incredible.
He's that mechanical
Sure.
mind, and just loves that he's helping.
I was
So-
thinking
Glad to have him.
he should have a complimentary membership if he was.
We'll get him anything he wants.
Right.
So, he asked for some lights in the second barn, and I said, okay, what else do you need? But, we'll get him anything he needs. But I did want to draw your attention to how much work he's done, and how it's been, saving grace for sure for us.
Saving a lot of space, making it organized, and saving some money.
Yeah, and
No doubt.
and I have to say that our partners at Connorsville, Andrew and his partner there, they've been also very amazing. They helped us run through all the equipment, get it ready for the start of the year. That's something we contractually worked with him on, and that's been very nice, because our equipment hasn't been ran through in quite some time. And so we've got all new filters, all new oil. We pressure washed it all with hot pressure wash, redid all the reels, sharpened all of those, even Glenn's. And so, we are ready to go. This is the most ready we've been in a long time. And so that focus and that preparedness and that energy is really pushing out to all the membership, and people can see it in the public. And I think that perception of Highland wants to be more, and Highland's gonna do great things, that's out there. And I think you all should be proud.
Yeah, and we should promote it.
And you should
Whenever
promote
we
it, for
have the
sure.
opportunity
Yes,
with our golf buddies and so
that's
on.
right, that's right, for
So,
sure.
Okay.
And thank you for your support. It's been a little bit of a road, but we'll get there.
I don't believe we have any other business, so entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. We're out of here.
Thank you.